What is the ultimate wildcard? In this video, we're going to be building our ultimate FPL Gameweek 22 wildcard within a budget, the best players using the best fixture rotation for captaincy, clean sheet, and the ultimate potential of points. So stick around and you could just have the ultimate wildcard. Now let's get into it. Alright, now the first things first here. The most important thing that we need to do in our wildcard is the core. Who are the core players in our team that we're going to be building around? Now let's jump over to the team selection here, and we're going to go position by position, saying who the actual core players that we want in our wildcard. In defense, I think it goes without saying, we all absolutely need Gabriel from Arsenal. Absolutely amazing. Definitely the highest goal scoring defender as well, with the best highest ceiling basically you can think of in defense. Now, I think that is easy. There are other players, of course, that you would like, but that is a player that without question we need in our defense. In the midfield, I did have one, but I have two I would like to build around that I feel I need in this wildcard, and that would be a one-man Bruno Fernandes and Declan Rice. Both players who have great potential, great high ceiling points in terms of DEFCON, on set pieces. Bruno has penalties as well, he's back, and he could be playing in that number 10 position now, considering that they are moving into new management as well. So there's a lot that could happen there, and we have to keep an eye on that. Now, in the strike force, I think again with this one it goes without saying, and this is why this is more quick section here, and that is Erling Haaland. Now the man's a beast. Fine, he's been blanking. He did just get a return right now, not necessarily the highest, but when it comes to captaincy, you definitely just need to have Erling Haaland in your team. So these guys are our core players. Now with this set, let us look at goalkeepers as well. When it comes to goalkeepers, what we can do is we can go onto the FPL Force and we can go to the command center, where we can then look at the FPL Force optimization tools, and in there we will actually be able to see an optimization tool which focuses on goalkeeper and defense rotation. And if you want to, you can go through and use that tool. Now what I've done is, having seen all of the outcomes in that tool, I've decided to do this manually, and so I've decided to actually go onto the fixture ticker and actually look at which fixtures I think are the best for defensive rotations. Now, just looking at it in totality, at the top we have Crystal Palace at the moment. Right now they're going to be starting off to play Sunderland, but when you look at Gaming 26, 27, I think from Gaming 24 they're looking really good. Chelsea in themselves, beyond the 6, I think have a really great run of fixtures. So do Bournemouth at the top there, as well as Aston Villa. Now Arsenal, I think without good fixtures, you're definitely going to want them in your team as well, because they could also be potentially doubling near and around those Game Week 24-25 fixtures if they make it through to the Cup final. Now, the Carabao Cup final. Now, that being said, I don't think any of us are going to be looking at Burnley. Really just going through the top 10 here. I think Fulham, having Wilson, if you have him in your team, he's definitely somebody to bring in if you don't. So I think their fixtures are also not necessarily looking bad. Leeds, Brighton at home, Man United's looking like a good fixture, and then you also have Everton as well. Man City is the one fixture which is really looking difficult there. And then we have Liverpool, who's going into Burnley into this game week, but they do have Newcastle at home and Man City at home at least. I think attacking players there are the players which I would rather be bringing in, or say considering, but in terms of defensive, I just don't trust them necessarily. Sunderland is an interesting team, considering when you start to put them into rotation with Chelsea's fixtures. Now, when you do that, I feel you actually get a very, very good fixture rotation. Maybe not at the entry in terms of this game week, with Brighton being a bit tricky and Chelsea as well, with new management as well, could really slip up and have points scored against them. But I think after a while, then they could actually start looking good when you look at them in Game Week 24. Now, let's look at those fixtures paired up next to each other. I think when you start looking at their fixtures from Game Week 24, and I'll put this up on the screen for you, then you start to have a very good rotation there between Sanchez and Roofs as well, who Sunderland have also been very good at home, and I think they do also play the bottom teams in West Ham and Wolves as well, and Burnley, so along with Chelsea. So I think they actually a very good pair up to have in the wildcard, especially when you think, for me, my team has actually got ownership of 9.9. So I would actually like to have my goalkeeping department add up to that or be less than that. That being said, my goalkeeper in this wildcard would be a Sanchez at 4.9. On the bench, I would have a Roofs there where they can actually have and use that rotation, which we just spoke about. Now, that is the goalkeepers done in the goalkeeping department. Let us round off with the defense, having touched onto that defensive rotation as well. I think let's start off with just saying Timber, for me, would be an absolute definite. I want to double up in that Arsenal defense if I'm not having Raya, so I think that's something we can definitely skip forward past. I'm happy to have Timber. Yes, there is some rotation that could be happening with Ben White, but I think we are, and we've seen it now, that Ben White will most likely be coming in onto the cups, giving Timber a bit more of a rest right now, and maybe even in Champions League if need be as well. Timber definitely will be in the actual league, so I think you can be rest assured there that he's definitely going to be playing there. Going into the other defenders, I would be playing a Mickey van der Ven just right now for entry point 4.6. You can have him. He did rise in price. He's going to be playing West Ham and Burnley. Now, Tottenham aren't necessarily in the best form. I know this, but I think he is at a great price with great fixtures right now, and I think in a capable team who know their backs are up against the wall. And if anything, the coach is going to have to win these games, and I think along with that, he knows very well that they cannot concede. So I would not be surprised with Tottenham conceding very little chances in these two games. That being said, the other defenders, touching onto that rotation, they are on the bench because of entry point, but I would have a Chalobah as well as a Mukiele there, having a good rotation between those two once hitting that real Game Week 24 mark. And you can see that Van der Ven could cover that because they will be playing Game Week 22 West Ham and Game Week 23 against Burnley. And then you can see Chalobah and Mukiele coming in. And later on then, if you want to, having rolled, you can actually just sub out, you can transfer out Van der Ven, or if you wanna, you can keep him if they're actually doing all that good and flying high as well. Depends on you, in all honesty. That being said, let us move into the midfield. Now, we've got two players in the midfield which you're absolutely happy with. Who is the second player? I think for me, a one-man Wilson. We did see the fixtures. They actually don't look bad at all. I think they're really, really great. So that's something we can definitely, just skip ahead. He's in great form as well, at 19% ownership. So he's still a bit of a differential, but I think is a really, really great option, in all honesty. Let's have a discussion, because Chelsea are going to be going into a really great fixture run, more really from now on. And I think it really turns really great as well, as I mentioned, from Game Week 24. That being said, in the midfield, there's a huge debate between Cole Palmer and Enzo Fernandez. Now, where are we with those two? In my opinion, based on their record and how they've been playing throughout the season, because that is what we have to look at, I am gonna disappoint you and say I am going with Enzo Fernandez based on minutes, which is what we need right now. The man is playing 90 minutes with Palmer and without Palmer. He's had his rotation here and then recently, but if you look back at all these games, he's just playing 90 minutes throughout, and his XG is incredible as well. He had a bit of a nice purple patch, bit of a stint down now in this previous game week. But I think with these fixtures, you don't want to be wasting too much money on a Cole Palmer at just over 10 million and him not necessarily playing 90 minutes as well. And when that happens, just like the other man, Bruno Guimaraes, who scored a penalty just recently, when Cole Palmer steps off the field, you have Enzo Fernandez who's going to be taking that penalty. Now, that being said, the other two midfield choices are going to be the man himself, Enzo Fernandez, and Bruno Guimaraes right now stepping in with a great fixture of Wolves. He's been in absolute form, scoring 30 points in the past 3 game weeks. That is amazing and something I don't think we can actually ignore. Now, the midfield I think is set. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think that we're missing somebody? Should we have maybe a Morgan Rogers in there? Do you think that this is light? What do you think of the structure of the team as well? Really interested to know on what you guys think. Going into the forwards. Now, I think it goes without saying, number 2, the man who has been in form is Thiago. Going up in price, been going up in price as well. He's definitely someone to have. The fixtures themselves, I also don't think are necessarily all that bad when we look at them. Let's see, they are actually at the bottom with Chelsea at away. Then they play Nottingham Forest, which is actually not a bad game week. And then you have Aston Villa, Newcastle, Arsenal, and Brighton. Now, I think those 3, Aston Villa, Newcastle, and Arsenal, are going to be absolutely very tough for them. But then again, that is someone who you can actually transfer out. And I'll tell you why, because maybe let me leave that for the end, because this next player is basically another enabler who I think is going to actually do very well for you in your wildcard, and that is the one man himself, Krupi Jr. at 4.6. This brings the team budget with money in the bank 2.2 million. Very great for you to be able to do a transfer, be able to bring in a player instead of having to bring in a player in one transfer instead of having to use 2 or more transfers as well, because you have that money in the bank. All in all, this team value really is at about 102 million, with 0.2 in the 0.2 as well just after that. So a really great, very low team value. So I think anybody can actually build this team, and with it having 2.2 million in the bank as well. If you feel like you want to step it up from Enzo Fernandez and maybe get that Cole Palmer or Bruno Fernandes just isn't doing it in that new Man United setup, I think you can actually get yourself a Palmer there as well, maybe removing Enzo and Bruno as well, and picking it up to a Palmer, and then bringing in a Rogers if need be as well, if budget allows. So Krupi himself actually has some really great games. If you look at the fixture ticker there as well, they are up there at number 3. With Semenyo gone, it is a question as to where he could be playing, and he could be playing right behind the striker there, with Tavernier on the left or the right, and Clivert as well, opening up that space for him. But I just think he's a really great enabler there for you as well. We will be having Liverpool Game Week 23, so it will be tough. Their fixtures really start to look good from Game Week 24, playing against Wolves. They do have a home fixture against Aston Villa, and then they have Everton and West Ham, and then the fixtures go on as well to being really Great. Now, let's take a look at that team one last time. Looking at it as well, I think this is a really, really great team. But let's see how good this team can do and how far we can actually roll this team so that we can actually get our 5 free transfers. Now, if you're enjoying that content, please remember to hit that subscribe button. It really goes a long way in supporting me and the channel and the content, knowing exactly that you guys love this as well, so I can make more content for you guys. But most importantly, it gives you 50% off the FPL app as well. Just remember to make sure that your subscription in YouTube is public. That way that the app can actually detect that you are subscribed to the channel. But other than that, let's continue with the video. Time to show why this team is the ultimate team. Now, this is Game Week 22. We are in the FPL Force app on the Command Center, and this is Game Week 22's team selection. Very happy. Bruno Guimaraes, we're going to give him the vice captaincy with Haaland there. We will skip ahead to Game Week 22. We already know what the bench looks like. That was established already in the video. So moving forward, we'll go to Game Week 23 there, and we've made a couple of changes there, bringing in Bruce and Pieli because they are playing West Ham, and we're still keeping Van der Ven. And on the bench, we've put Chalobah there along with Bruno Fernandes playing against Arsenal, Krupa Jr. as well playing against Liverpool, with Sanchez as well against Crystal Palace. Happy with that, really. I feel like everybody's got a fairly good average team. I think debatable whether or not you want to have Enzo on the bench for Bruno Fernandes. You can really decide there. I think everybody here has got a good fixture. Now, having 1 free transfer, 2.2 in the bank, let's move on to Game Week 24, and we have again made a bit of a change there as well. Taking out Mickey van der Ven there, bringing in Chalobah, and I think it's debatable whether or not you can also have Sanchez in there against West Ham, or you can have Riffs there against Burnley. Yeah, debatable. Let me know in the comment section what you would really do. We did bring in Bruno Fernandes there on the bench. Now we have Thiago who's out for Krupa Jr. playing against Wolves. Hopefully we can get him for that game there as well, depending on whether or not he can play. But I think Thiago to play for play against Aston Villa isn't necessarily all that bad. Now, going on to the next game week, having 2 free transfers, that will give us 3 free transfers. Now we've shifted back to a 3-5-2 with Sanchez back in with Chalobah as well as Gabriel and Timber in the defense. And then we have that initial 5 midfield with the 2 strikers that we had as well in the beginning. On the bench, we have the Sunderland players against Arsenal, with Mickey van der Ven as well against Man United, and Krupi against Aston Villa. Now, I think depending on the performance of Tottenham in this time, that Man United fixture could be a good one, but I have Bruno, so I'd rather have him there rather than Mickey van der Ven. I like the defense there as well. So wouldn't really necessarily bring him in over anybody, but you guys let me know in the comment section what you think you would actually do. 3 free transfers here, 2.2 in the bank, given we have no actual injuries. A team rating this game week of 88 out of 100 looks really good actually. Let's go to game week 26, giving us 4 free transfers there. We would have Sanchez along with Chalobah playing against Leeds and the Arsenal guys. Very much keeping the same team. The one difference here would be Thiago moving out because he's playing against Arsenal. And of course, the Sunderland boys playing against Liverpool, and Van der Ven still on the bench there. Could be playing against Everton. Makes absolute sense there. In terms of captaincy, very happy for me to captain Haaland throughout. It's as I mentioned earlier on, I think the only captain person that I would have thought about really was Cole Palmer because of his potential. But I'm mentioning captaincy now because Bruno would be playing against a West Ham, and I think it's one of the great fixtures that he has actually in his fixture run. We will be able to see a few more of his fixtures. over here, he would be playing Everton as well in Game Week 27. I think this would be probably the best fixture for him to be captain and go against Haaland, in all honesty. Good for bonus, good for DC, points of course, assist, and a bit of goals, but more so assist. If you want to go for it, I think you can. The thing is, Haaland is at home, so predicted 7 points more than Bruno. Yeah, I think Haaland would be the guy to go for, really. But this is why, for me, I wasn't really all that eager as well to spend that much money on Cole Palmer, who I'm just not sure. But things can change. We do have the amount of transfers and the actual money in the bank as well, so we could make the change if need be. Going into that last game week that we would roll to have those 5 free transfers given, no injuries are given as well. Players are in good to average form. We would have very much almost the same team, considering Krupi is playing against West Ham there as well. On the bench, same bench really, with Mukiele and Roofs as well as Thiago there. If you want to, you can actually have Thiago in for Bruno Guimaraes, who is playing away to Man City, knowing how Newcastle's performance is away from home, and knowing that Bruno Guimaraes, Thiago is actually playing at home. I think that is actually a transfer we could make, and we could just move that into position like this and have them there, so we can actually be playing a 3-4-3. This for me would make a lot more sense actually for this. Now, if that doesn't tell you that this is the ultimate team, being able to roll 5 free transfers, have this great money in the bank, and have the opportunity to still go to Cole Palmer for this game week, if you want to take on Haaland against Newcastle at home and bring in a Cole Palmer, I don't know what does. I really don't know what does. We could make that transfer in right now. So I think this wildcard honestly says it for itself in the way it is actually built. So let me know in the comment section what you think, really. So Kat, you've been gone. Where you been, bro? I've been having a baby, man. I've been having a baby. It's been so hard to record. I've had to record this probably over because one of my boys are actually screaming behind there. It's actually Skywalker. So yeah, it's been tough, but honestly, a blessing, in all honesty. But I believe I'm back. I'm trying to do things different, as you guys can see. So let me know in the comment section if you love the way I'm editing and shooting the actual content. Really am trying something different, so also using more viewers as well. Leave comments in the comment section. I get back to you guys all the time because ain't nobody actually really coming. And if you do, then you're the lucky guy who gets to have my opinion as well. So let me know. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate all the support and love from you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.